Sorry. They're all there.
Good afternoon, good morning, everybody. It's the Instagram Hockey Collectors Roundtable, and everybody's in vent mode except the host currently. So you might be hearing some things that you're not expecting to hear. Hide the women and children. We thought we'd get going a little bit early today because there's some football game that I don't know if anybody here cares about, other than the fact that I'm about to win $20 for my old man, as I do almost every year. But other than that, we thought we'd come in and talk a little bit about, kind of continuing the topic we chatted about a couple episodes ago, guys, where we were talking about market correction, right? Like all these cards are starting to come back into the forefront. A lot of these 90s cards especially, that's our expertise. And there's some sets still that have some catching up to do, right? Compared to the upper deck sets, or like for instance, like a Zenith Z team. I don't know why we bring that up, but those cards seem to be very, very popular, right? Those have not really dropped off. But then there's a lot of sets and inserts that just still don't get a lot of hobby love, and we thought we'd chat a little bit about that. I mean, obviously Pacific is the first one that comes to mind, but there's Donruss, of course. And so thought we'd chat a little bit about that. Like when I brought this topic up, guys, just off the top of your heads, like what was the first like just card or insert or parallel set that you were like, oh yeah, this is going to gain some popularity down the road when people are priced out of everything else, they're going to turn to this.
How about just Joe Sakic? I'm just going to say Joe Sakic.
Oh, the player in general.
I'm just going to say him. I'm just going to throw him out there right now. He's criminally underpriced.
Yeah, same with Yzerman. I find both of them are very, very underpriced. Yzerman's obviously higher, but yeah, Joe Sakic is, I don't get it. It's weird.
Steal, man. Steal. Yeah. But yeah, I didn't mean to derail you that early, Matt, but I just had to throw it out there.
I mean, we did kind of chat about that too. And remember, we were throwing out names, and it was funny because Cartel's like plugging his ears because like everybody we mentioned, he's like, yep, that was a guy I was going to go after. That was a guy. But not only the players, but there's a lot of sets. Like we've talked about this. We looked at our old price guides, cards that are valued and $70 to $100 to $200 from these certain sets that people are paying $10-15 for. Eventually people have to make it their way to those sets. I mean, we've talked about Pacific a lot and just their brand and their ideas, and then of course Miles, he's talking about Donruss. And I mean, let me ask you guys this: why have people still not gone? I mean, like Gretzky Pacific stuff is starting to come up. All of his stuff is, right? But why do you think people have stayed away from some of those cheaper brands for so long? I mean, why no hobby love still?
Well, like we were talking about before, we looked at some of the stuff in Pacific, like the titanium, what was it, private stock?
Yeah.
Titanium? Yeah, some of that stuff is so low numbered, it's just not popping up. So that, you don't have the liquidity. So it's not in, if there's not a market for it, and when it does come up, if people put it up for a bin or something, like that's that titanium private stock draft day. I mean, that's out of 1,000. But I mean, you get into the rare ones like that, you're just finding that there's just not a market for them, and people are snapping them up either very quickly or they're just out there somewhere. I mean, who knows? Right. I mean, like we were talking about that Ty Conklin, it's out of 1. Does anybody actually own that Ty Conklin? Whatever year that was,
Could be in a box. Even know. Could be in a box still.
Exactly. Yeah. Because that was, what year was that? That was 2002.
2001, right?
Yeah, 2001, 2002, Titanium has them to their jersey numbers. Like, yeah, it's insane, the rookie cards or whatever. Kovalchuk's the 17. So try hunting down that rookie card.
Dude, that card actually is pretty good.
What's Datsuk out of if he's in there? Is it 56 or 13?
13, and it's not even listed in the price. It's listed there.
Yeah, but no price because there's
it's
scarcity.
Exactly, so 13. So there you go. Was that Lemieux?
Yeah, that's a sharp card. I like that one a lot.
Yeah,
those parallels all look great. I love that set.
I have them like Comrie
here. Let's see here. Where's my? They've changed things around just a little bit, so I got to make sure that.
What was that, Vinny?
Probably 2000, 2001.
There's another example, but that's not the one I was looking for.
Premiere date, maybe?
Yeah, 2000. Pacific private stock titanium.
All right.
Yeah.
April 11th, 2001.
I think a lot of it, too, when I was younger, I always kind of viewed Pacific as kind of gimmicky and kind of fluky, at least in my opinion.
They were football, right? Yeah,
I didn't really like them, but I will say these titanium ones, I've always liked those, and I like the Prism, but They just always kind of seem kind of gimmicky to me as when I was a kid. And
Yeah, when
that
I
was
was
at least
younger,
my initial view on them.
they
Right.
seem to be like some of it was high priced too. Some of the stuff, right?
Mhm.
Doesn't cost more than basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like you guys are saying, like Pacific came up with a lot of good ideas and like they were gimmicky at the time, and then all of a sudden it's like they're not there anymore.
Yeah.
Godfather,
A lot of
like,
experienced people, like the comment said, like a lot of people who know cards know of Pacific, but new people coming in, there's just that brand recognition just isn't
Yeah.
there, right?
Oh, Pacific didn't do basketball then. Sorry, I'm very basketball illiterate. I don't watch basketball, so I know the big stars obviously. So I know Pacific was football. I know they were in the football game, and I know they were in baseball. But yeah, like I think it's one area that hasn't caught on because you don't see a lot of it out there. Well, you do, but it's not like a hot seller. And I don't think people know a lot about the parallels. Like that, what is it? That Y hat. That's got like 6 or 7 parallels in that set. In 97, 98 Pacific Dynagon.
Well, you said it before we went on air. Like you said, they were kind of the godfather of this stuff because they got all the rainbows and stuff. They were the first one to put maybe 7 or 8 parallels.
Because if you look at 97, 98 Black Diamond from Upper Deck, that had what, 4 parallels?
Yep, 3, right?
Yeah. So you had the base, and then you had double, triple, and quad.
And that was a lot at that time, almost.
Yeah, exactly. So
it's also worth noting that with all those rainbows, like you see Upper Decks rainbows now, and there's like 15 or 20, and you have to be E-pack, you have to do regular pack.
Yeah.
You got to chase these stupid things, and these ones are actual physical cards that you can find.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that's true. And Topps is the worst. Like for baseball, for parallels, like you're chasing down a lot, right? Same with Panini.
I mean, I must have like 25 versions of the same Tyler Glasnow picture on the top card. I mean, it's just like, guys,
it's cool to do.
But
for
change
one card,
the picture or something. Like do something like so. Pacific though, they kind of they're the Godfathers. They had like 6 or 7 parallels, but
different colors,
But
and there's condition sensitive too.
Yeah. Oh, dude, like the chipping is the worst.
So that wall that you put up is very condition sensitive. I pulled that out of a pack and put it right into a penny sleeve top loader, and it's got a soft corner on it, and the edges are all right, but that top left corner on the front there, it is soft. And that's the way it came.
Dead on. You could feel those Pacific cards. They did feel a little cheap.
Well, the card stock was very, very cheaply done.
As opposed to like the titanium felt like a real good quality card. That's a different story.
Regular private stock, if you guys ever opened that, it was like thicker card stock. But I think one of the coolest things with Pacific, and Miles brought this up before we went live, is that if you're a player collector of somebody, Miles, who's somebody you collect that like nobody's really heard of or collects?
I'm Jeff Friesen is my big one. It's like he played right through the end of the 90s, and it's like he was good enough to be in a lot of sets, but he wasn't like highly sought after. So it's like you can find him, right?
Yeah, but then Pacific's got all like they had such big checklists in all their sets, right, guys? I mean, like some of their Crown collection, their some of their what else? Crown Royale sometimes, Dynagan. The SoCo players made it in there, so if you're a player collector, you can chase these guys down. Like, Vinny, if you wanted to go get Penguins and Red Wings from back then that were decent, you can go. Lemieux's going to be wrong one. Lemieux, hold that one up again. Lemieux's going to be
I never
everything.
Crown Royal,
but
Crown Royal, Crown Pacific Crown. What are they?
Whatever.
I just think of booze whenever I think of those.
Sorry, man. But now they look nice. I don't mind them now. It's one of the things that grown on me, right?
Yep, same here.
You guys see that? Oh, they did. That's right.
Panini bought the name. They bought several of the names from Pacific.
Right.
And then from 2009 to like 2014, they put out cards. Right. And then 15's when it went straight Upper Deck, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Correct, which is probably a good thing.
Straight Upper Deck for hockey?
Yeah.
Yeah, they got the sole licensing in 04, right? That's when the last, and then 05, like 05, 06 is like the last year of anything, I think, with, and then they renewed in 14, I think, their licensing for, they've been the sole one for a while. It sucks.
Yeah, but
Panini through the years.
Did a good job.
Yeah, Panini came in there and they bumped in there for a while, for a few years, like Dominion and all that. And National Treasures. I have a couple of those cards.
Good looking cards.
They were fun. And then we
job.
really need another manufacturer, and I'd love to see Topps get back into it because they have so much of a catalog, right?
They do the stickers, I mean, so they're making hockey cards, but they're still stickers, and so
there you go.
You know, I'm really curious. Yeah, that's beautiful.
That's a nice one. Yeah. Was that out of 25, Vinny?
Yep.
So yeah, but I'm kind of curious too, though. Like, do you think eventually collectors are gonna, like, we'll start with Pacific. Do you think collectors are going to start finding their way there? Because I was looking up Gretzky Ice Blue parallels. Right, those are out of what, 67, I believe. Even if they're not numbered, they're technically out of 67. We know this. Those are starting to gain some popularity. The prices are starting to go up on those. You're seeing them sell for 60, 70, 80 bucks.
Yeah, anything Gretzky.
Right, but then you can go get, not that this is going to be expensive, but Jocelyn Tebow or Tom Barrasso, I mean, those are $2-3. The blues, and they're everywhere out there. Like, whereas in baseball, I can't find a blue parallel of A-Rod anywhere. A, because I bought most of them earlier, and then B, nobody lists them. Yeah. So, like, they're not out there, but they're also affordable. So I'm just curious, do you feel like collectors are going to eventually start making their way to this brand, or do you think it'll always just be like the redhead stepchild of hockey cards from...
It's hard to say, truthfully. I mean, I don't see why not. I mean, they're fun. It all depends on how much they're hyped, right? Yeah. Social media now can hype a card so much, and we all know it. Like, we've seen cards hype. Like, low-numbered cards from the 90s right now are, like, out of this world. If you're collecting baseball, especially baseball, I find some of that stuff is, like, the essential credentials stuff and all that, the EX stuff. Like, there's a Barry Bonds right now, essentials, up for, it's at 600 or 700 right now. It's a BGS 9 on PWCC. Mm-hmm. I seen that the other day. I was like, that stuff is so, but, for hockey, I don't know. I just don't know why Pacific hasn't caught on.
I think it'll be a little in the middle, because I'm not gonna be rushing to spend much of my money on Pacific.
You can pick them up for a few bucks. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I think it'll pick up with some, but like I said, I think there's a lot that'll remember it. It just won't bring great memories, but some it will. So I kind of think it'll be kind of in the middle, but I don't think it's going to catch up to the rest of these, big name ones and
we also have
to expect.
Yeah, we also have to look at when people left the hobby too, what they remember, right? So if you left the hobby in 90, 91 or 91, 92, what was the last set that these guys collected? Mm-hmm. That are rushing back into it right now, right? A lot of guys didn't last into the 90s after the bubble burst and whatnot. I don't know, 93 if you want to call it then, and the hobby started to contract, like what is their last set that they remember collecting? So that's a big thing. They just don't know about it. A lot of people don't know what's out there.
That's a guy like Dollar Rookies. Like, he stopped around, I think, 96, 97, and he's pretty much told me anything newer than that, he's, like I said, completely foreign to it. And he tries to stay away from some of it.
I left in 95 and got back in 98, and it was like the landscape completely changed. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that was like 3 years.
I was going to say, 96, 97 kind of felt like it was just boom, all out there at that point. Yeah. 95, 96 it started, and then 96, 97 it was just...
Yeah, and that's when you had the insert craze go, when the hobby was so driven, especially for hockey, for rookie cards and second-year cards. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden inserts became the biggest thing, right? 93, 94, 94, 95, and then, then your parallels like we were talking about for 97, 98, the parallels in Dynagon are just insane. Just that set alone, so...
What about you, Miles? I mean, do you feel like Collectors Pacific is something that collectors will come back to, or do you think it's going to keep being overlooked?
I think Nick kind of hit it. I think it's, if guys remember that stuff, they'll go back to it. I think one thing to recognize too is, like, if you're looking at early 90s, you can still definitely see the continuity between like 80s cards through 90s. They were still kind of that cardboard stock, kind of cheaper, but kind of mid 90s, that's when we kind of shifted into, it's shiny, it's bright, the graphics are really good, the photography is a lot better. Yeah. If guys are into that and they want to jump back to, at the end of the 90s, where you've got the Red Wings dynasties, you've got the Avalanche dynasty, you've got
Devils,
you've got the Devils, you've got Gretzky's last couple years. I mean, if guys are into that period and they want parallels, then they're going to go to Pacific.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, and just look at Premier. 90-91 Premier is a perfect example of like where people left off, I think, because there's no way that stuff should be that expensive. There's stuff that's selling in hundreds, and like Jagger rookie cards at $10, $100. Like, like a lot of them probably remember it being low print, but they don't realize that it actually was printed again.
These factory sealed sets have been going through the roof too, I've been noticing.
Yeah, I bought 4 of those for like $250 a couple of years ago. Like
I saw an auction was like $400 or $500 the other day just for one. They,
Yeah, I should sell a couple of them. God,
box are $600. So
that's insane.
packs are going for 25 Canadian.
Jeez.
Do they realize how much is out there? I have a ton of it. I should just sell it all. I have so much
Seriously. And you know, it was the rare of 9091.
Well, it's the rare side of the 9091 issue, right? So
yeah,
anyways, that's my point. I think that's where some people left off drastically. It was 9091, or that's the last one that they really remember being really like. Premier was the kind of like the, the more expensive one per pack right back then. So I don't know.
What do you think, Vinny? I know that you and I share like a love for Pacific maybe a little bit more than the rest of these guys do. But do you feel like people are gonna, when they get priced out of the O-Peachy from 1991, do you feel like they'll start coming around and grabbing some stuff, or no?
If they were to look at numbered rookies and stuff like for Nash and all those guys, how many Sedin brothers? It's there. It's Zetterberg. There's some Hall of Fame guys that's rookie years.
Got a bunch.
Yeah.
Between 97 and 2000, and the last Pacific set was 0405. So that was just straight Pacific, and then Upper Deck did one series of regular, and they had one Young Gun, and they had the retro Young Guns, and then they had a couple other Upper Deck sets.
Yeah.
But after that, once you hit 05, it was pretty much Upper Deck Central until Panini got into the game.
Yeah.
So, a lot of stuff is forgotten.
Yeah.
Like Ryan was saying, if it's not on their radar now, Future Watch, Young Gun, stuff with rookie patches, that's what people go after.
Yeah.
It's what the norm is now. But I mean, I could just go through this and grab something, something simple and, like this. Here's another Pacific card. Look at that. I mean,
awesome.
How cool is that thing?
Is that Paramount or was that Crown?
Crown Royal.
Crown Royal. So you say Crown Royal, I think booze.
It's not the Super Bowl yet.
That's actually really nice. The die cut. I never could get into the die cut stuff. I don't mind it now. Yeah, see, that's nice.
With the maple leaf? Good Lord.
They're a little confusing, though, because like this one, my old man had this just sitting in a box. Apparently, it's a red parallel. I had no idea. I thought it was just a base card.
So those are normally silver, are they not? Or like a
silver,
base silver? Yeah.
Yep.
I had that card in the base.
No idea. My dad had it just sitting in a box, and I went through it, and I thought it was a base card.
Yeah.
And usually that stuff doesn't get by me, but that one did.
That's interesting.
To
like
show this too. I mean, like crazy innovation, strange looking cards,
Yeah,
that's Prism. That's Oh God, those things.
Anyway, go ahead, Miles. Sorry, I didn't know.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I was just gonna say, like a lot of those late '90s Pacific sets, like the parallels don't look like parallels, and every time I look at one, I have to pull it up on COMC or something. Yeah. And I have to go, which one is this? And I have to turn it back and forth, and I have to look at the picture. It's not always immediately apparent that it's a parallel.
I think that's what I don't like about Pacific, too. Like you said, it's just not. The rest of them, you just kind of know.
Yeah, you got to have a sharper eye, right? And that's not serialized either, is it, that red
These
parallel?
I like, too. These little prisms.
Yeah.
These ones are serial, too. They made 4 or 5 of those. This one's out of 160. I think they made like a purple one. They made a blue one. I know I got a blue beret that's out of 80. I think.
Jesus,
right. I was gonna show that. Yeah, that is pretty cool. I mean, here's something that comes to mind when I'm listening to all you guys talk. Is this so? Let's say you're collecting a decent player to so let's say Paul Krea. I just showed Paul Krea. You're like, oh, I want to get these cards of him on the Ducks, right? And you've exhausted your out of 100 cards from Upper Decks. You're like, man, I can't afford any of these, like the 6 Cents Wizards or something like that, like those type of cards. Then you're like, well, what about Pacific? It's like the Blues are out of 67. You got some of these other parallels out of 40, out of 35, or whatever. It's like they're rare, but they're not as expensive, so you're able to get cards that qualify as rare, but so I just think it's a brand that has a lot to offer. I just think there's a lot of variety out there, and if you're getting into modern and you like chasing those rainbows, I think Pacific offers this is going to be nice to look at.
Yeah. So that's
I've heard he's decent.
So if you look at that one though, and it's nice because sorry to cut you off there, I didn't mean to, but the backs, these are actually, so that's we were talking about earlier there. They have an odd number, like they're not out of 1,000, they're not out of 1,500 or 5,000. They always had these oddball numbers. Sorry to cut you off, but yeah, that's what I liked about Pacific the most. And the condition sensitivity to these sets is what makes them, I think, worth collecting now, because they're hard to find. Like anything that's condition sensitive is good. It should drive demand, right?
Right. Yeah, no, for sure, man. I just think that eventually when collectors catch on to just the variety that it has to offer, I think you're going to see it have a market correction just like all these other sets, you know. But again, it has to gain popularity amongst the collecting community. I mean, you guys know how it is on Instagram. If one of us posts a card, you're like, oh my god, that thing is amazing. Yeah. I did not know about this specific card. Like, you're laughing because you know I'm right, because it's like, holy crap, Miles just posted this card. I don't have this of Tebow or of Lemieux. I need to go get this card. And just like that one, Nick, when you posted the what's that score insert that's like going completely bananas? Like, not Blades of Steel. It's called something else.
Golden Blades.
Golden Blades, yeah. Like those things, I was like, wow, these look really nice. And I went to go grab one of, like, you know, Bure or something because they looked nice, and they were going nuts. You know what I mean?
Are you talking the insert Golden Blades or the parallel?
Yeah,
there's two.
The insert. There was an insert you posted that had all this foil and stuff.
Oh, insert. Oh, I'm thinking of the parallel. Yeah. I have a Brodeur sitting here for some reason.
No, not that. There was an insert. Yeah, that one right there. Yeah.
Ooh.
I mean, look at that thing. You know, like that card, when I saw it, when he took a picture, I was like, holy crap, this card is perfect. And then you went and looked up the prices, and everybody was paying a ton for them. So
I actually have this whole set. My dad had the entire set, and I have.
Are they serialized? Are they out of something?
No,
really?
Nope. They're just 20 card set. I think they were only in the jumbo packs, I believe, is what it was. Something weird like that. But I think like Jimmy Cardboard Adventures says he's like never really seen the Iserman around. I have no idea what they made, how many they made.
Really? What year is it?
95,
96. Yeah.
95, 96. I wasn't big into Score. I bought a few boxes of it back then. I just have to take a gander.
It's probably it's not even valued too much, I don't believe. Like they have a Forsberg, they have a Korea. I always liked Forsberg because anything Nordiques I'm in always.
Yep.
There's a Sakic, there's a Medano.
What year again, guys?
Friesen.
97-98?
95, 96.
95, 96.
Yeah, the whole set
they were worth in 98.
There's a Friesen? No.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Save some money, Miles.
Oh, I'm just looking at the OMC. I haven't found it yet.
If you're going by price guide, which doesn't mean a thing anymore, but I mean, really, the set retails for $50.
Golden Blades, yeah.
Yeah, $50.
Back in $50. Yep, that's it. It's the whole set was worth $260. 20 card set back in '98, and the most expensive card was Paul Correa, $50.
Wow. And then Forsberg, I remember, were the big ones because that's before Iserman kind of really started catching on.
Iserman, he's actually the same price as Forsberg in here, and then Joe Sakic is up there. Roenick's, you know.
What year is your price guide from?
98. Oh,
yeah. So
yeah.
Matt, what's the lowest price one there? That's Stefan Richer.
Stefan Richer.
Not all of them are priced in here, so they only put the guys that are stars or semi-stars.
You find one there, Miles?
Yeah. No, I'm still looking, still hunting here.
I'm trying to find my post. I know I had a post where I posted them all.
Yeah, so I don't know. There's so many sets from the 90s. There's so many manufacturers. There's so many sets. There's so many insert sets. You know, you could spend a lifetime going through the 90s. Like up until, honestly, like the golden age for me for hockey cards is like 1990 to like 2004. 2004. That to me is like the golden age when you had all the manufacturers. And you just had so much product up there. So good luck. The landscape's massive. It'll take a long time to navigate. And I mean, obviously, you're going to have like the 95, 96 Zenith C team because it crosses over sports, right? Yep. You have it in football. You have it in baseball, I believe.
Yep. Yeah, it's weird though. In both those sports, sorry, Ryan, they're not that expensive. Like you can get a Griffey for like $50, which makes no sense because a Gretzky's how much? Raw right now.
Yeah, I won one at auction just over $100. Yeah, or $80. Sorry, 80. That was my surprise one.
Which makes no sense because you would think that the Griffey,
there you go,
because of popularity, would be more expensive, right?
Yeah.
Just found the Friesen. I was too distracted by the Riche. It was right below it. So
there's a golden blades, Vinny. That's nice.
Right.
And then starting lineup had the same picture that year.
Oh yeah.
Starting lineup.
No, that's the year before. Sorry, but
I mean, we can touch on that too. I feel like Score is another one too that's kind of like in this Pacific realm. They didn't have that many parallels, but they still had like 5 some years, you know. And then they had a lot of inserts. Like for me, the Net Worth, that's an insert that I talked about. Hard to find, not expensive, but there's just not a lot of it out there because Score was the gas station cards. I just remember going to gas stations and you go in there and they would be
cheap table. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but their cards were really good, and I feel like those. I don't know about you guys, but I'm starting to see a lot more Score inserts being posted. It's not just Nick who does post a lot of those, which is great because we need to see them, but more and more people are posting Score in parallels and inserts. I'm like, hey, that's another brand that has some room to grow. You know, because the photography wasn't bad, the card stock's not terrible. A lot of white was used on all their cards, but then the inserts were pretty unique. So I feel like they have some room to grow.
The parallels for those golden blades, like 96, 97, how did that redemption work? Like you had to pull the card, send it back. Someone had to look through a filter on the back or something.
Really?
Weird.
That was the couple of years I was out of the hobby there, and man, I'll have to look that up sometime. 96, 97?
Paging Jimmy, but like it was like they had to look at the back, the little square there that Vinny's showing there, right at the bottom.
Oh yeah.
And if it was
obviously a scratch off, or is it actually? Is it a scratch off?
No, you would look through a filter, and if it was if it said you're a winner or whatever, you got a certain card, and if it wasn't, you didn't get it.
They had so many gimmicks in the 90s that like actually are really well done.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's all 20 of them.
And Dave made a good point that when I was talking about 04, 05, it was a lockout year, so that's why there was so little product that year.
Yep.
You hit that square ahead.
You still had Upper Deck. You still had that SB Authentic, but it wasn't like you had anything driving those. Those are the forgotten year, I guess you could say, right?
Yeah, those goalie young guns, there was only a couple, and they were very, very tough for me to find. I mean, there was one guy, from the Capitals, like Seamus something. Seamus Koyuk or something. I'm like, who the heck is this guy? And there was like one card on eBay. Like,
I think I have the Hobby Baker one, the young gun. They did all those retro. I think they did the retro young guns that year, for 04 and 05. So.
Right. Yeah, that was a kind of a cool idea. But yeah, Score's definitely another one, man. There's a lot of really neat.
Yeah, that card there alone, I seen that card. Oh man, that is such a nice card.
Vinny shared it, and like you said, same thing, man. I had to get it.
Yeah, I know. I almost bought one.
So I feel like we should definitely touch on another set, because in baseball, this set, like, and it's not just Donruss base set, but it's like other sets, like for instance Limited, which they did in hockey, and it's an amazing set. Yeah. Baseball had the Crusade inserts, which totally changed the game in my opinion. We did a whole episode on that and these sensor credentials, but Miles, you brought up Donruss being kind of the set that you feel like has a lot of room for growth. Like, where did that come from? Because honestly, I think Donruss, for me, I put that under Pacific sometimes. I'm just like, eh. So
yeah, I think it's kind of like it might not have as much room as Pacific, but I definitely I was thinking parallels. I was thinking like good solid sets, good photography,
press proofs,
and I was like, okay, Pacific, and then what's after that? Donruss. So I pulled a couple here. I'll try and share my.
Depends what year at Donruss you're talking about. You get into Donruss.
I've always liked
97, 98. That is a heavy set.
I feel 96 through 99 or 98 when they stopped, obviously. But man, they had some really cool, innovation. Like their limited exposures.
The godfather of the inserts, Donruss.
Oh, dude, yes, Elite, yeah.
Okay, so you've got your base set, you got your Donruss and the press proof,
I remember buying that stuff. Yep.
And just like a really clean set. There's the back.
Nice.
The 1 of 2000.
Do you remember the artist proofs of those?
Yeah,
this is 1 of 2000, and then they made another one, right, Miles?
Right,
there's a gold one, 1 of 500 that was die cut.
Yep, I had a couple of those.
Again, just like nice parallel, nice and clean. It was lower number, but not unachievable. No. The one thing I do wish is it wasn't just 1 out of 2000. That always bugged me.
Yeah, I was looking at that. That's what you got there. Yeah, the 1 out of 2,000. It was weird. They did it with the die cuts too. 1 out of 500.
Yeah, so just give me a number.
Yeah,
just tell me I'm unique.
Yeah, right. eBay 101.
And then you've got the Canadian ice, and I don't have a picture of the parallel, but there was a parallel for that one as well.
Out of 750, I think those parallels are really nice.
I think you're right. And then you've got the Elite, right? And you started getting into the die cuts there as well.
Yeah.
Aspirations and
And there's a couple. There's the gold, and then there's actually promos I've seen listed on COMC. One guy's got a monopoly on them, but there's like the gold promos
Dallas
of
card
those.
Buyers or something like that.
The guy's got a monopoly on them.
Yeah, he does.
And then you get into like the Donruss Preferred, and like there's just a ton of gorgeous looking cards. Like I'm looking at the Gretzky's here, and I'm like, they're just really sharp.
I have a box of that sitting upstairs. That stuff's terrible to open.
I actually like the gold. I might be the only one. I like the gold more than the platinum. I may be the only one. I just like the appeal of those gold cards. But you're right, Miles. Those Donruss Preferred are great cards.
Let me see here.
And then I don't even have pictures of like the Donruss Priority. Like you got into the postcards and the stamps, and like some of those came across really well. And then the studios, right? It's like they're kind of a joke set, but I mean, like,
worst set of all time, man. Sorry, it just kills me.
Yeah, no,
but it was unique. It was unique.
It was unique, right?
Oh, what's that, man?
And then, like, if you want to go down the list, like, again, not as much room for growth, but you had a couple sets where they were one and done, like 1 or 2 years, and then they were done. Stadium Club, I really like the photos, and they lasted for a bit longer. But you also had ones like Skybox Emotion, right? And it's not like those are ever going to reach a pinnacle of the hobby where everybody wants them, but there's going to be people who want those ones because it's a smaller set, it's easy to achieve, but yet you can't find all of them all over the place, right? You got to hunt for them. And you look at the back, like they're kind of definitely a 90s card, but like you've got big tall photos with just a couple lines of stats. And
wow, you also have all the photos. Like there's 3 different photos used on those cards. You know what I mean? Like now you don't get that.
Right. I mean, at all. You don't see that at all anymore. Like, you get the same picture from the front on the back, and it's like a smaller version. But one thing that Gene talked about with this set is that they wanted it to be kind of like Flair. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if you look at the back right there, it looks like the front of a Flair card.
Yeah.
So, yeah, those are some excellent choices. I mean, like, just like Mike said, I mean, if you guys have ever seen that insert set, man, the die cutting and the foil, I mean, that is a beautiful set. And then Eric Fashad is in it, for crying out loud. So if he's in it, everybody's in that set. Fichot. Okay, thank you. I've never heard his name said.
Miles is Canadian, right? Fichot.
Yeah,
there you go. That's a beauty.
Yeah. Oh. And then that scan, can I just point out that scan does this card justice with the texture, because the card does feel like that on the edges. Yeah. Man, too bad the player stinks, but.
I have that. So I should have scanned in the hose size. I got the HOSA graded out of that. This stuff is a pain in the ass to open, by the way. I have a box of it up, and that tin stuff. Like I had the single tins, but the double wide tins, they just like kind of push them into the tin. It's What
was the HOSA, silver, or what was?
Yes, it was silver. Yeah, I actually have that in I managed to get a 9.5 on it. I don't know how. I sent it in as just a throw in. So
those cuts of the chase are really cool too.
Oh yeah,
I got a Beret gold somewhere.
It's really interesting because the gold, the Tebow cut to the chase gold, the die cut was like $9, but the regular gold cost me just as much because I just think they don't show up as much. And then I watched somebody open a box of that, like the tins, and they pulled 1 gold. I was like, okay, I mean, this is definitely justified.
That's it. Those, I pulled a couple of, not the golds, but the die cut like bronze or
So you opened an entire box and didn't see a gold, right? You didn't see 1 gold.
I haven't opened the whole box. I only opened up 1 tin, so I might leave the rest sealed.
Well, that doesn't surprise me. Vinny, are there any Donruss cards that kind of came to mind as we were talking about this? Because I know you actually post a lot of Donruss, if I think correctly. You know? Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that die cutting, dude. Oh.
Somebody just made a comment there. Who was it? Was it Mike there or Amish Dave?
Out of 500. I've never seen that before.
On ComC, this card's $300+.
Wow.
Well, that's because people throw those cards up and they're the only ones with them, and they put them
exactly.
stupid price.
This is hard to find. Then TNT had 4 of them in 3 weeks, and I lucked out and grabbed one of them.
Good.
Wow.
That's awesome, dude. Have you already posted that on your Instagram?
Yeah.
I'm sure I saw it, but I didn't really realize, I guess, how rare it was. But
we see hundreds of great cards every day. Let's be honest. They all get mixed in the shuffle. There we go. There's the Godfather.
Yeah,
I
still don't have.
This is the king. This Donruss changed the game.
I love
when they did this card. This is what changed it all.
10,000.
As crazy as it sounds, that's what changed the game. Numbered cards. Who would have thought of it?
Yeah,
Donruss did.
You know what's funny too is my friend, one of the several Ryans I know, Ryan Scripter. He did a video where he was showing off all the elite inserts that Griffey had, and big inside joke, has a little mini fridge. He's like, look what's behind the fridge, and he pulls out the Lemieux. And it's stunning how much better the Lemieux is than the Griffey. Like hockey, because we've talked about it, came out last. They're like, hey, why don't we try this like prismatic foil on the edge and see how it works? I mean, if that is how the baseball inserts looked, oh my God, those things would be really expensive. So hockey nailed it, man.
They're the first ones to do this stuff too. These little edges and die cuts. I felt like this was the first one of that stuff. I'm not a huge fan of them. Trying to put them in a penny sleeve, as we all know, is treacherous. But I feel like this was like the first one of those.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. That's. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Matt.
No, I was just gonna say, like, have you guys really taken the time to look at how many different inserts Donruss had? I mean, there's a lot to unpack.
They had Ice Kings, the drawings. They had those for a little bit in the early '90s.
Yeah,
they did it with baseball too. Diamond Kings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was going to say, have you guys heard of 97-98 Donruss Limited Fabric of the Game?
Yes, I have one, but it's in a box. They're really cool cards.
I was like, Fabric of the Game. I was like, this must be a jersey card. It's not.
Nope.
But then you look at them, and like some of them are out of 1,000. Some are out of 500. There's a couple that are out of 100.
Really?
Right.
Yeah.
Who are the players that are out of 100? I'm curious.
Gretzky, Coffey.
Oh, that's right. Paul Coffey.
Messier.
That's right.
Grant Fuhr.
That's a good
Iserman. There's an Iserman in there.
Provincial series. Who was that left that comment there? That's an interesting comment too. There, I know what he's talking about.
So when you're talking about Donruss, they're related to Leaf. When you're talking about Score, you're talking about Pinnacle, because they're all related because they bought each other during that time period. So when you look at the Leaf stuff and the Donruss stuff, if it's not in one, they put some cool stuff in the other. So
this is crazy too. Those Fabric of the Game back in '98 were priced. I mean, all the Gretzky's are priced at $450. The Patrick Waugh canvas is priced at $375 out of 100. Andy Moog is out of 100. I mean, there's some really tough cards in that set. Obviously, Justin Tebow didn't make the price guide, which is a shame. But
semi-stars and goalies.
Telling you, dude, I think Donruss Limited for me, that set for baseball and hockey, just the shine on those parallels, those limited exposures, and the idea of putting 2 players on the same card, and then the star factors were out of 30 or whatever, but they're not numbered out of 30. I mean, some of those cards are just. I love the innovation that Donruss had with not numbering cards, but making them limited. No pun intended. You know what, Carl? I agree with you, my friend. I agree with you.
That last comment we had up there from the fellow from IG Instagram there.
Yeah, that's Mr. GSH, Mr. Gish. He always does all those
challenges.
Yeah.
Great account. Yeah. That player, that provincial series has a full Players Club parallel set. Huh. I'll have to hunt that one down. I knew about the Canadian Ice provincial series.
Right.
That's
cool seeing.
Here's another one of those kind of weird things they were doing. Are these what you were mentioning?
Yep.
Yeah.
Those are, and that right there, I think those are only out of 1,200, but you'll never know.
Yes, exactly. No idea.
Nice to see some people from Instagram come over.
We got
indigenous.
We got some hitters here, man.
There we go. Yeah, we have some big hitters coming on.
Yeah,
we got these names all day.
Indigenous rookies.
Yeah,
Rangers.
Great channel,
Mike,
man.
New York Rangers. Yeah,
yeah.
Nice
to see you guys,
here.
Man. Definitely.
Good to see everyone.
I think what's really cool is we are easily able to talk about Pacific, Donruss, Leaf, and just show insert after insert after insert. There's all these amazing cards. People just Ryan said it best. It's easy to get lost in the vastness of the 90s. There's so much to unpack, and so like even look, Miles, his like knowledge of the 90s, just like everybody else, is beyond me. And he goes, I didn't know he was in that set. Jeff Friesen's in this set. Like there's still stuff that we are learning.
Yeah,
you know that, and like Ryan, you too. You're like, wait, I didn't know about that. So. There's just so much to unpack, but if you that's what I think part of the reason we want to do this roundtable is to try to bring some of these cards to light, because
some of us collected only certain sets, right, or insert sets.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like me. I stuck to very limited sets, like very certain sets that I was very particular to, right? So some of this other stuff, like I didn't like the Score logo back in the 90s. That weird S that came out, I didn't like it. And honestly, a lot of stuff, marketing drives me a lot towards collecting. So I was I Black Diamond.
Kind of kiddish.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you said Score. I have to show this card because I just took a picture of it
now
a couple
I like
days
that
ago.
stuff.
Yeah, I love Score.
And back then, you're right. I was the same way. I'm like, this is kind of cheap. But look at, just look at this card right here. I mean, I have to show it, but I mean, like the design of this
that's super 90s.
Yeah, dude, but I love it, and I think
these ones too are really growing on me lately.
Yeah, see, the Score logo actually drove me away. See,
dude.
Yeah, see, they're the nice cards. A lot of great stuff.
Here was that limited exposure that you have. So I mean, just I finally found my Tebow double team, but we talked about it, Ryan. It was like that was a tough card, and they're actually really, really limited.
Wow. Yeah, and you got stuck. Yeah, if you got, where is it? You got him and
Vorobiev.
Yeah.
Vorobiev.
Where's the back?
Yeah, I think John Ryan or somebody's on the back with Tebow. Like, who the heck is this guy?
Yeah,
like
that's the only good thing about this card is that you get the limited exposure underneath the 97. But yeah, you got Vorobiev, whatever his name, Vladimir. Yeah.
Who? How did he get, like, when they're making the checklist? Vinny, did you have one as well?
Yeah.
This is a cool card. The Steel Power.
Yeah.
And these are numbered to 2,500. And then these, the jerseys, the sweaters.
Yeah. That's Leaf.
Yeah, Leaf.
Yeah.
My dad opened so much.
Man, I cannot get the camera today. And then this is the harder one.
The Holmes, That's
awesome.
And then for some reason, the most sought after insert right now, for some reason, is Fire on Ices. I don't get it. I still, for the life of me, don't understand why these things are going for so much.
What are they numbered to?
2,500, and then the year after, they're numbered out of 1,000, and then they're like a half the price. These ones.
Those look better.
They're out of 1,000. These ones are out of 1,000, and these ones are out of 2,500. But for some reason, the ones at 2,500 are just people want them. I don't know if it's the horizontal. See, I do exactly.
When I moved, I had that Lemieux Fire on Ice. And I cannot find it anywhere. It's driving me insane. I've been looking for that card for 10 years. Every time I find a box, please let it be in here. Nope. And I lost that night. The one sold for $99. And I put a bid up at like 85 because I wanted that thing. My top 20 list is shrinking, which is good, from the 90s for Lemieux. And
I want that Eisner Fire. I can't find it either.
No.
It's a real tough one. Somebody had a bid on auction the other day, but it started at $49.99. I'm not doing that.
Too much.
Yeah,
I mean,
a lot of auctions are starting like that now.
Yeah, thanks.
I just need to clarify something real quick. Anybody like Miles who's read the comments, I need to clarify these Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast. All right, so timeout.
No lie, you got a bunch on the way from PSA.
Just
really?
Everybody be quiet. Greg, for some reason, who used to be on the Essential Credentials with me, if you watch this, Greg, I hate you. He heard me in an interview talk about how I picked The Hunchback over Notre Dame over the Independence Day movie back when I was a kid. He sent me a freaking box of it. And
That's what it was?
You found out who it came from that.
Oh, yeah, because I sent it to all you guys. That's right. So it was Greg. And then this guy, JB Collectibles, that's like the dude who has it on his eBay store. I don't know what the heck he's talking about. I did not order Pro Set Little Mermaid. Like, it has to be an inside joke that I'm just totally not aware of.
I found more Hunchback.
Like, what is he talking about? Jason, I don't know who you are, but I reached out to him, like, why did you send me this? And then he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Freaking great. Like, and it's awesome. Sitting sealed on the shelf out there. I'm like, I'm not opening this. He's gonna have to sign it, and I'm gonna grade the box. Anyway, I just wanted to clarify that. Freaking best gag gift ever.
Get a BVCE wrap, baby.
Yeah. Well, when I actually contacted Vinny first, I'm like, did you try to send me that box of emotion? And the guy like sent the wrong box on accident. Like, I didn't know what was going on. Anyways, I just had to clarify that. Freaking jerks. But anyways, but when you're not collecting Hunchback of Notre Dame, that has some market correction to come later. Well, let's admit it. Those cards are coming later, but. There's just so much, like just you guys talking about these cards, like even though Jocelyn Tebow doesn't have Fire and Ice, I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to go grab one of those. It just looks, just to see what they look like in hand, man. There's so much that the 90s still have to offer, and I just think it's endless, man. You could
think of how much is out there that's still unopened. That's the crazy thing. You can still buy 90s boxes like readily. Like,
it's all at your house.
Yeah,
it's at your house.
Yeah.
It's all at your house.
Yeah.
Yours are not. You and Jimmy.
Yeah. But I mean, it's not hard to find. Some of it, it is a little bit harder. But I mean, you can still buy like 96, 97 Black Diamond up until a couple of years ago. I've seen boxes of it. You know, like 97, 98. I was looking at a box like 6 months ago. Like, it's not hard to find some of this stuff, right? So,
right. Okay.
Just got to wonder what's out there that's still not opened. That's still sitting in a pack. That's the wild thing. That's what drives me nuts.
Well, I will say this. I mean, just to kind of tie into that, back when I was really collecting A-Rod heavily, there's a guy who would buy 90s boxes, Brandt, and he would do group breaks of it, so you'd pay for your player's spot. And he did an entire case of Upper Deck, 1999 Upper Deck, right? That would be 98, 99 for hockey. You know, you had those bronze parallels out of 100 and all these crazy inserts. Dude, he didn't pull anything out of that. Like the Griffey parallel out of 100 was just luck. Like there was no low number inserts. And after watching him, I think I've watched him open 50 boxes, including limited and those tins and everything. Some of these cards that we're paying like $10 for, $20 for, there has to be a correction. They are impossible to pull. They really are. You got a checklist of 400 players and you want to get a Jocelyn Tebow out of 100, you're not going to get it. You're not going to get it.
Buy the card.
And, yeah, exactly.
Buy
so
the card.
I just excuse me.
You expect to pull it. Yeah, you're in for really.
People underestimate just how tough some of these inserts are. Yeah, they might be out of 2,500, Vinny, but that could be a 30-card checklist. And you get one per case or one per box or something.
Especially those parallels, like you said, a 400-card set, man.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I did when I got back in 97, 98, when I got back into the hobby. That's what I did. I picked up a price guide and I started going through all the insert sets and all that. And it was blowing my mind. Then I went and picked up boxes, but then I wouldn't pull anything. You have to be driven by, you got to understand that when you're opening wax, like hobby wax, you're not going to get what you want. Unless you're collecting base cards, you pull some of those really rare inserts and all that, like good luck. Like you really got to do your research and look at how they were seeded and how many packs, like 1 in 800 or 1 in 700, whatever it may be, right? So you really got to do your research because people are buying stuff now and they list it on eBay. You'll see boxes, it'll say like, is this, whatever player in it, question mark. And it's like, the chances of you pulling that, it's just like, good luck,
Yeah, it's kind of funny to look back. Like this magazine here has like box prices in it. And to look back and say, like, there's mega cards you could pull, but you still only had to pay $80 for a box. Like, the value was definitely in it. Nowadays, the chance of, because of grading as part of it, the chance of pulling a rookie card of Rick Nash and getting it graded in PSA 10, they're using that card's price as, like, the way to justify a $300 price.
Well, look at Upper Deck this year, Upper Deck Series 1 flagship. It's such... I won't touch another case of that stuff. Like, really, you're going to get this. There's no value in the case to me. There's none. Like, unless you pull like 2 Lafrenieres and they're like maybe one's an exclusive, you're going to get some of your money back if you sell it. Like whatever it is. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, there's just no value in it.
that's why I've enjoyed. I'm not going to open anymore, but I open like 3 tins of it, and the tins are fun because you're not breaking the bank. You're going to get 2 or 3 young guns. You get, and that's it. And it's like, okay, you just kind of get a little taste, and that's it. But buying hobby boxes of like, look at Top Series 1 baseball. It's like 100 and what did you say it was, Vinny?
139.
It's like that's so ridiculous. That's ridiculous. It should be like $70. It should. What are you going to pull out of it?
So to go back and answer Dave, he makes a real good point. What you think today's price is, next year that's going to be the basement.
Yeah. Either way, I wouldn't feel
He's
comfortable
got a heck of a
$50 for an Eiserman Fire on Ice personally. When the auction starts above what I'm comfortable paying already, I'm not going to go there anyways. That was a card. I'll pay $30 for that card, but that's it. I'm not paying.
I've learned you got to go out of your comfort zone sometimes, and
I got pretty good restraint. It can stay out there then.
I agree with you, Nick, because it took me going after 2 artist proofs in the last 2 weeks. I had to go out of my comfort zone of what I thought those were, and I even was talking to Dave about those, and he's like, "Dude, do it," and I'm like,
"That's the worst."
Yeah, like what Benny's saying. Sorry, that's what collecting's about, right there. You determine the price. That's why when people put a price on a card, it's irrelevant. Value is in the eye of the beholder. What I'm comfortable paying $500 for, you're not, right?
Yeah.
Or vice versa.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I'll pay $600 for a card that some people will be like, that's not worth, $200. But for me, like if the auction goes wild, sometimes it gets the better of me, and that's unfortunate. That's where I'm a collector. I'm not an investor. In my investing life, I do not act like that. I do not run on emotion. That's why so many collectors are not investors. As much as they think they are, they're not even close because they're buying on emotion. You don't invest with emotions. You don't. This goes out the door. Your heart has to leave all of your emotion. Because you'll buy and then you'll end up buying and having a lot of buyer's remorse, and that's what a lot of people are thinking to have in this hobby. A lot, they're going to be stuck with this proverbial bag that they paid $15,000 for, or whatever the case may be, and then they're going, "It's not worth it."
You prioritize it, and like that's just it. Like that Fire on Ice. Like I'd like to have that card, but there's a lot of other stuff I will. Like you said, the value of it is more to me. But that card in particular, like I said, 30 is my max, and it is what it is on that one. And there's other ones where, let's say, your value say maybe 20 on something, I'm willing to go 50 on it. Because that's just the importance to me.
The eye of the beholder, man.
It all just depends on what it is. Yeah, and I've been pretty good at kind of being disciplined with it, but it can be tough. Like you said, that heart.
Yeah.
That gets you in trouble, especially if it's late at night and you had a few drinks too. We've all been there.
Do not drink in eBay. Do not drink.
No.
That's why these cell phones, these smartphones are so dangerous because you have the app right there.
Yeah.
You can be standing outside having a smoke outside the bar, and
I'm $80 card
and $600 card. Let's do it. Yeah.
I've done it when I'm walking the dog and my hand is freaking freezing out, and I'm like, need that. It's dangerous, man.
Yeah. It is.
I mean, Dave's right. But after buying both of those Tebows, I had to really ask myself, like, okay, I have to prioritize a little bit. You know what I mean? I really do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's those flurries that I posted yesterday. Those kind of additions make me so happy when you pay $5, $4, $3 for all those cards.
Yeah,
and they look incredible. Thing. Yeah, like there's a lot of that out there with the 90s still. Yeah. There really is a lot of value out there still. The cards that are going to make you just as happy in a sense as buying the artist proof for $50, $60, $80.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what did we watch yesterday? And that Joe Thornton Platinum Mirror, what was it, the 97, 98? Mm-hmm. Don Ross there, the
Precious Metals Gold.
Precious Metal Gold, yeah.
Remember what Jimmy was saying, that he saw it go for around $500-$600? That thing ended just over $100.
Yeah.
That goes to show you, set your timings too for your eBay auction.
Yeah, don't end it at 10:30 a.m.
Yeah, Eastern. 11 a.m. you end your auction. Man.
Yeah.
Lessons to be learned.
Nick does bring up a good point about restraint. When you're thinking about, so he goes at Fire on Ice, and then 2 minutes later, the Dotsook that you're hunting goes up. What do you do?
Yeah.
Go for Dotsook.
You spent the all the money on that one, and you're like, oh crap, because that's the one I really, really want.
Yep.
So that restraint in some cases is good because which you got to weigh, For me, I know the list, so it's easy for me to do it. I prioritize off that list. If I see something else that I could get, I don't want to spend say $100 on something outside that range right now, because if I see something else come up, I want to attack that, like Dave said, and hit it heavy. Yep. So it's a slippery slope, man.
Yeah,
slippery slope.
I mean, that's a good point right there too. You know what I mean? But I will say this, and not to just say that that's a bad idea, but after spending $60 on 210s, got to give a shout out to Bob Lewis. He hit me up and sent them to me from his hobby shop. As much fun as I had opening 210s of Upper Deck for $60, after not pulling anything like decent, I said, why didn't I just spend the $60 and buy a card that I know I'm gonna love? So that was a nice little lesson for myself. I'm like, just try to stay away from that idea. So I think it goes both ways, Mike. To be honest,
well, it does. You know,
what Mike's saying. Like my dad and I were talking the other day. He's like, back in the day, you didn't have all these options of, you know, you look to pull it from the wax. Yeah. You hope to get
that was all you had.
That's all. You know,
right?
It's a different landscape.
Wow. Yeah.
But I'm like him. Okay, here, Dave. There's your wait's over. Another one that I have just sitting here, a 96, 97 Leaf that I picked up for $40 one day, and that Fire and Ice could be in there. It could not.
Yeah.
I'm scared.
That's why I say don't read a price guide. Don't read what's it. Don't go to a website and read the actual product, the product review, and what's in it, because you'll be very, very disappointed when you open the box nowadays.
Yeah. That Beckett you have, Ryan, what I really like about that one too is it shows what the prices were for a pack. You know, like it says $5.99 for a pack. You get 6 cards, say a black diamond, whatever it may be. That's what I do like about that. It shows.
That's why I read old Beckett's. You get an idea of what the market was. A lot of people, there's a lot of information in those old Beckett's. Not only just prices, there's a lot of product reviews, and there's stuff that you'll go over that you don't realize that's not like not every
hot list.
Yeah, exactly. I just bought an old 2009 almanac for baseball because I'm going back and collecting, and it's a phone book. It is massive, but it has all the stuff there that's not in there in 2019 because they've omitted a lot of stuff out of those price guides.
Much stuff.
Yeah, they got to pare it down, right? So there's so much out there. And speaking on that 90s stuff, it seems like it's endless. Like you guys showed some sets, some just like insert sets. I'm like, I've heard of it maybe, but I've never actually seen one up close.
Like you said, I'd rather buy a card too, because like I said, 98.99 Bowman's Best. I bought the Eiserman Atomic Refractor for $100, right? I mean, what's a box going to cost me? $70-$80, who knows? And I mean, what am I going to get better than that? You know, a Gretzky Atomic Refractor, or you know what I mean? At that point, just give me the guy.
I buy a lot of single cards just for that. I've been doing it for 20 years now, buying singles. But I also buy a lot of wax because it's fun to open. Yeah. But I'm not a gambler. That's the weird
fun
thing.
To open, but you don't open it.
Yeah. I've opened a lot, but I've also haven't opened. I have a lot I've kept. So
do you tend to like buy 2 and then open 1 and throw the other one on the shelf?
I do. I buy 3 or 4 and then keep 3, or I'll buy a case and keep 1. I didn't keep any of my 15, 16 no SB Authentic. I wish I had, because I had a case of that. You know, that would have been but I mean, I got the McDavid autograph out of it from his Canada jersey, the Great White North autograph. But
no regrets.
I didn't get his future watch, but
no regrets.
Yeah, no regrets. It's fun, and you know that's that's what another thing. I wonder they've turned it into a gambling machine. They really have.
Yeah,
it is a lot. Like I was speaking last night in the group. Look up that Slab Mania stuff. It's wild. 7 graded cards. It's done by Leaf. 7 graded cards. PSA. Or BGS, that's the only 2 companies I've seen come out of there, and they're all pretty much high-grade cards that come out of this. Really interesting. It's wild, you know. It's a repack in a sense. They go up and buy graded cards, so really interesting. Yeah, see, Dave agrees. Awesome. Yeah, the almanacs you can't go wrong with. But anyways, so that's interesting. If anybody's watching this and is a gambler, you try that Slab Mania. Really interesting stuff.
And Mike brings up another good point. Where's the art of trading gone? Nobody thinks about trading anymore.
I haven't traded since I was a kid. Honestly,
you know, if you need something and you have doubles, triples, quadruples, or something, whatever happened to hitting up a buddy and say, "Hey, do you have this? Yeah, I got 2 or 3. Do you want one?"
I should really start trading because I do.
That's mine and cardboards, chat.
Yeah,
me and Jenny.
Like, to be honest, like with Instagram, I've been trading more than I think I did growing up because like there's just a larger community. It's like you might have to wait for that card to come.
Yeah.
But it'll come, and even not necessarily a formal like I'll give you this, you give me that. You say, hey, I got this of your guy. It might not even be doubles or triples. I might just feel that you need it more than I do.
Yeah. I have literally I have so much 9091 Premier, OPG Premier, like ungraded and graded that I've sent in. Honestly, I could set somebody up with like a starter kit for the base, the set. Like I should start trading. It is a good idea. And
yeah, I think that's Miles brought it up. It's perfect. Instagram
good
is
idea.
the only place I've done that. I mean, I don't typically trade, but it's really nice when somebody hits you up and says, "Hey, I know you like Tebow. I got an extra of this minus Jocelyn Tebow collector with his 3 score gold autos that he won't move one."
Dave's dead on too with trading being difficult sometimes because I'll admit sometimes I overvalue some stuff because maybe I've had it for 15 years and there's something to it.
But that's the thing, like we talked about earlier. Value is in the eye of the beholder, the individual. What you value is not like what I value, right? Like we all have our own value set. So that's why that's why people got to really. Like they say low ball offers and high, like, you know what I mean? Like you got to understand some people like don't like, if you have a card listed for 100, I might throw in 30 or 40 bucks because that's what I see the value is. If you take that as an insult, like that's your business, not mine. Right. What was the comment there again?
He was just talking about how he likes getting,
like
it's like the
game
volume of cards, you know, and I think 90 certainly has that, you know, like, when I open Modern, I don't care about the base cards at all, really. But when I open 90s, I like to keep.
I was caught off guard, man. I bought a box of SP game used. I didn't realize I was getting a 1-pack of 4 cards for $129. Like I won't do that again.
That's not gambling at its finest. That is true gambling right there.
Never. And you know what's
that
funny?
Comment there is that Mike?
Man,
New
York Rangers.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the. He's got a good point there, you know, like you got to really pick and choose and be careful what you buy. And
back to my thing, I got this for $150. It was out of that box. As opposed to paying $130, I'd rather just pay 20 more and get this what I want, as opposed to the garbage I pulled.
Yeah,
you know?
A lot of filler, right?
Yeah, that nowadays, I mean, I just enjoy watching YouTube breakers because they spend $300 on a box and they're like, oh, this was decent. I was just like, oh my gosh.
People break retail. Seriously, they break retail. Anybody bought retail here? If you're paying for a spot in retail, you're crazy. Honestly, like I probably just insulted a bunch of people. That's insane to me. Like when you have 5 packs and you're looking to hit somebody or a team, like you know, that is gambling. Like that's really like Russian roulette to me.
That's what you buy retail for those base cards, right? You don't buy them for big hits.
But they're supposed to be for fun. You pay $20, and if, like, for instance, when Bob and I were opening packs live, you pulled the Lafreniere canvas out of a retail box. Like, you're not going to see that ever. So, like, you don't open it expecting to get anything. You open it for fun.
Yeah,
that's all retail is. But yet, if you're a basketball or football guy, retail, you're going to kill the other guy at Walmart standing next to you for your retail box. So, thankfully, hockey hasn't got there yet. Unless all 5 of us are looking for a retail box, maybe there's.
I stopped buying it.
I don't buy anything new.
No, it's there's just no point, you know.
I'm not opening anything anytime soon because I'm not in a position to be gambling. I'll just grab what I want.
Right.
Every time I've opened something, I'm just always upset or I'm not happy.
When you go into opening boxes, you got to go in with a mindset of just opening packs.
Just having fun, being a kid.
I just have to clear my mind because I've been opening up platinum stuff like the year I collect. So I go in there with a fresh mind. I pull good stuff. I pulled another Pedersen autograph the other day, and it's just like I have 2 of these now. I kept pulling Noah Juleson, that Canadians, whoever he is. So, anyways, if you go in with a fresh mind, you know.
Yeah. But like you said, if you're going in there looking to pull a Steve Yzerman autographed jersey, you're going to be. Yeah. It's not going to be a good day.
Yeah, that SB Game Use, that's an interesting product. They've really brought that down, that low numbered stuff. Same with Black Diamond. Remember when Black Diamond before? Now it's high end, considered more high end. So
cool cards too, though. I mean, there's some really cool stuff in there, but the idea of how much you're paying for, that's why it's a singles market when it comes to buying now. But it's not a box breaking market. But I know Vinny's got to get going here soon. I think we definitely uncovered a lot, and especially unpacked some of those sets that deserve a closer look from a lot of people. Everybody watching right now, everybody that's getting into the 90s, if they stumble upon this roundtable, like somebody even said in the chat, like, I'm going to look these up now. Like, take the time to go dig into some Pacific and Donruss and Leaf, because there's a lot of affordable, rare, collectible cards out there, and you're going to have to move on to that eventually, because you're going to get priced out of the upper deck stuff. You're going to get priced out of the really rare, high-end stuff that's or high desirable stuff. Like, there's a lot of cards out there that even we're still learning about. So take the time to do it, seriously. Want to say thanks to all you guys for making it earlier today. I mean, I will say that it's probably earlier for me than anybody else here. It's like it was 9 a.m. when we started this, so you're welcome for that. But
say Red Wings are on, man. Cutting into my time.
Carolina's playing in 45 minutes, so I'm excited to watch Aho and Svechnikov and all those guys do their thing. But yeah, looking forward to doing it again next week. We'll probably just stick to the regular time if everybody's cool with that. Normally we go with 4 Eastern. So.
We got 6 dogs in the house right now. That's why my wife came in and she's like, they just dropped off the dogs. I'm dog sitting for my daughter.
Nice.
Nice.
Chaos. I got my two are enough, man.
Thanks, Indigenous. We appreciate it.
Thanks for all the guys
for tuning in.
Comments too.
This is good.
Yeah,
a lot of good people in here today. It was
a lot of names I see all the time.
Paul was in here, Dave, Steve, everybody.
Al,
I think that was the goal of this, was to get those people in here. Not that it's not good to see people on YouTube like the guy with the hunchback cards, but it's nice to get the people from Instagram. So anyway, hey, everybody enjoy the football game today if you're watching that. If not, there's some hockey on right now. Go check it out. Hopefully half the league's not postponed at this point. And we'll catch you next Sunday. Have a good one, guys.
All right, later, dudes.
Ciao.